Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Chrissy Sawyer here. Thank you for being here. I welcome new subscribers. So, we're in some shifting energy. Feels like the fabric of time is shifting. And there's a lot of where am I and who am I? What am I? So the big questions coming in. And so I'm going to do a very esoteric reading today using numerology, astrology, and tarot. And let's see what comes out. I've pulled a few cards to begin with. And I can see the story. It's like there's a turning, shifting point in commitment and diligence and practice. It's like the personal engineering of change. That's what it feels like. Yeah. Okay. And so the numerology cards have come out in sets of 2, and there's like 3 progressing storylines. So I'll do the whole lot in one reading. And the first card out is spiritual partnership, which is really whispering to coming into union and communion with self, with the spirit within, which aligns to universal energy. And what is that? And where's that going to take me? Well, it might take you to feeling complete. It might take you to feeling whole. The 9 speaks of the surrender of the egoic want. The 9 speaks of the humility to breathe into these changing energies, and maybe put the want on the back burner for a while, just to allow something new to come in. And the astrology cards that have come out to this new meeting point are speaking of destiny. That's coming in on a master number 1133. So what I'm getting with this is a higher authority. And I'm noticing there's an expansion happening within the heart, the solar plexus, and the throat. Like a new way to communicate, or an expanded way to communicate. So it's alignment to soul. And that's coming in with Saturn return. And immediately there's this question of, are you sure about that? Do you want to look at that again? So Saturn is in Pisces, which is going to help the elevation of the Piscean wounding, the elevation of the cosmic feminine, the cosmic creative principle, generative, through steady application of highly conscious focus. That's what it feels like. And in there's a question of, I know it doesn't suit you. There's the commitment. Okay. Okay. So I kind of love that this has come out inverted. You know me, I don't read many cards inverted. But there's a question in here about, put the lion on the bottom and the lamb on the top. This is the surrender. This is that 9 energy, is to surrender, this push to be strong, and to surrender to the lamb within, the newborn within. And it might not be a question of have strength, push through. It might be more of a movement of surrender into innocence and purity. And that's also coming out with an inverted 8 of Wands, which speaks of speed, messenger, lots of messages coming in, hastiness. And so there's a kind of slow down. Because remember, we're building now to come into this grand fixed square, which is, it's going to hold, depending on how we harness it. We can move to stuck and feel stuck and resist that, and move to fast movement and the courage of the lion. Or we can move into that held, fixed energy and use it to see where we have become fixed, but also use it as a safe container to move within. Yeah, it's that generative. It's building, but it's this building block level. And how do you want to build? Because this might be, you know, if we turn these upright, could we apply those messages to patriarchal construction, to build it quick for the fastest profit and to push through? It's very push. Look at this. It talks of flow, balance. Okay, with me so far? And so the second phase that's come out is speaking to karmic completion. And again, with that Saturn in Pisces, that really sings to this karmic completion, or completion of the way we have created karma. Because karma is in every movement. It is in the cause and effect. Everything we cause has an effect which creates karma. And if we're causing and affecting in line with universal creative principle, that becomes generative. And if we are causing and affecting in a harmful way, well, that can cause a cyclone, a cycle of behavior which becomes embedded in the fixed energy. A lot of energy coming in with these cards. Okay. This basically just says, allow the new light in. It may not fit with this old paradigm. Allow the new light in. And I'm feeling nervous. There's a nervousness coming in here. So this is the quickness of all the messages. The busy mind might be wanting to pull back to an old karmic cycle, the blueprint of which we know inside out and upside down. But this is saying, can you surrender to something new, a new way of creating that's going to harness the light? This is initiatic energy. Fast. It feels fast. Is that the challenge? How to sit in surrender in an energy that feels fast. It's a paradox. I don't have to know in this moment. That's what I'm getting. Okay. There's a really simple message here about loving your own creativity, and that's going to throw up the big paradigm challenge of whether we are continuing to create in an old paradigm and calling it something different, or creating in the mapping of your own creativity, which you can map back to. If you go back to your first memory of childish innocence, the first memory of childish curiosity, where the world made it wrong, bad, naughty, before all those labels were imposed upon you, go back a bit and tune into that pure light coming into the innocence and the purity. That's the essence of your creativity. Can you remember anything that you did as a little one that felt wonderful, full of wonder? Doesn't have to make sense. This is about creating from passion and love. And letting go of our attachment to the outcome, which might be bottom line driven. Because creativity doesn't always want to be a business. Sometimes creativity just wants to be an expression of the soul. Just that. Okay, so coming out with the Nine of Swords, which is that kind of up at night worrying, too much thinking. Look at the light trying to break through all of these noisy crows. And maybe if she just changed her posture and laid back on that pillow and looked up at the light, and she could shift her reality and birth passion. Look at the joy in this. Look at the difference. So this could be the movement. I'm sensing this is a May message because the energies are just going to keep ramping. And in their ramping, what I'm sensing is they're just going to bring in tons of joy and love in that Taurian grounded energy. Dare to have it. It's that kind of, it's lovely. It's lovely. Feels very solid and daring. Yeah, she is literally saying, look up, look up. So this might be caught in an old karmic wheel. The light's trying to come in. Look up. Okay, with me so far? And now we move into follow your dreams. Build something different is the challenge. Okay, so I'm noticing my head's getting hot and it's going to start to get busy planning. Okay. My dare is to sit in this and just allow the light, allow the universe to take the strain almost, and to just bring the light in, to look up and receive at this point. Because it may be that at this point in your life, you're not really sure what your dream is, what the soul craves. Because the dream isn't built in the egoic want. That's the old way. The new way is so if what you're creating doesn't contain this kind of energy, have a look at that. Have a look at that. Because if we reduce this to a 13-4, so 8 plus 5 equals 13, which reduces to 4. 13-4 is the feminine coming into the structure. It is the generative principle, if you like, and it can feel unstable. It can feel scary. The 13, the 3, so the 13 is that beautiful feminine energy, and the 3 is unstable. It needs a container. So the 13-4 will probably need to experience the tension of opposites so that it can make the soul choice. Where do I want to be in this? Where does my that want to be in this? Where can I find my that in this, whatever is birthing? So the big movement is to turn towards our water. It is to turn back into that Queen of Cups energy, to turn back into the sun card, to shine the light into the water and to create from sensory perception. Turn back in, use that Venusian energy. Beautiful. Allow the light of love to pierce the heart is beautiful. Allow the light of love to pierce the heart and to clear out of the cup whatever is no longer wanted. We're washing the grit out of the bottom of the cup, everything that's been squashed down there in service to another 8th house Scorpio entanglements. This is all pointing us back to a single point of focus and to let go of the labels that might go with that, selfishness and self-serving and narcissism. It's the elevation of that field. It's learning to sing in the key of soul. It's beautiful, really stunning energy, not without challenges. I don't want to paint this unicorn. There's going to be some challenges because this nervousness is in and it's kind of mixing with this burgeoning want to expand, to break the container. And we take our time in that energy so that we don't behave impetuously. Okay, so follow your dreams, self-love, finding the joy in creation might be the message here. Okay, first house, body. Notice what, so if we're turning back towards sensory perception, notice as you move through this reading, what's happening in your body. This is like Venus in Aries here. This is like the priestess coming into the body and waking up all of those dormant energies. And we're in Taurus season, and that might ask us some very grounded questions about how's your diet? How's your exercise? What's your relationship with your physicality? Yeah. Okay, there's a bit of a sick feeling coming in with this, and it feels like a bit of dread. And it might literally be speaking to the end of relationships, the end of marriages, the end of partnerships, where you just know, and you might have known for some time, and it might be terrifying to make that move. And how do you do it? And in that moment, we can switch to that 9 of Swords and go into the mental realm, where we can submit, surrender, pull that cushion under our head and relax and trust that our blueprint will lead us to the right words, to the right way to convey truth, right truth. Not right is polite, truth. And we have the 8th house of Scorpio, which is, so if we look at the Taurus-Scorpio axis, Taurus is about kind of personal resource, the resource that you create for yourself, money and property and relationships, food. Scorpio is where they have become entangled. So where you bank is an entanglement. That's an 8th house entanglement with your money. So you don't have complete authority over your money. Yeah. Yeah. This is going to kick up some shadow, for sure. This will kick up some shadow. Because in the journey of coming home to self, there's going to be some stuff that we've got to let go of in this shifting reality of what are you in this. We're coming home to our truth, that intrinsic blade. Okay. And so having spoke about that in terms of relationships, are those energies contained in these relationships? Because if they're not, there's going to be consequence. No right or wrong, a consequence and a choice. Okay, so as we work with our consequences, the consequence could be equated to karma. So the consequence of cause and effect. Then the first message to come in with this last phase is Waite. Yeah, okay. So what this is giving me is there's something about realizing the gift. Okay. In every relationship, in every relationship, there are blessings and triggers and lots of stuff in between. And so if we are in the, that's not good for me because, can we kind of look at that upside down and move into the breath and the peace of just suspension? And maybe ask, if we are talking about relationships, maybe ask, what have I learned in this? What are my triggers in this? This is going to take us into another level of shadow work. I'm certainly seeing that in the client work that I do. It seems like my whole client base has gone, I'm here, I want to go here. Have you got me? It's poetic, it's absolutely beautiful and elegant. And so to go deeper, we cannot keep going to the crows because they're going to give us, yeah, right, okay. So when I was studying Reiki, I was given this sentence and I've used it ad nauseum ever since, and it is, in the head, there are only questions. In the heart, there are only answers. And so as we turn back in to sensory perception, we listen and we hear the truth. Okay. So again, there is that slow down, be held, right? And again, it's the duality of the fixed square. I'm trapped, I'm stuck, I can't move, versus I am being held while I decide what is best for my soul in this. 11:55. So 55 wants to birth a new light, but it wants to bring it in through the intuition. It's really powerful energy. And 11:55 adds up to 12, which is the hangman. This is about personal authority. Whose authority? Where did that go? That went with that. That went with that. Goes there. Is there a segue? So I've got 2 tarot cards here. And I'm just wondering, is there something in the middle of these messages? Okay, so I'm guided just to speak into them. So we have the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Passion. This chick just does it, you know. Listen, when I use nouns like this, I'm not talking to women. I'm talking about the birth of passion through the feminine creative principle. Yeah, absolutely. But it isn't. It isn't. Because one's a masculine. It's masculine fire. So this is the embodied masculine and feminine mixing together in this alchemical creative force to become. That is the challenge, isn't it? To become a creative force in the world and to be in utter joy doing it. So we have the yin and yang here, the shadow and the light, and the masculine moving the chariot in fire and starlight. It's just magical. Fire and starlight, no rains, just doing it with the power of his passion. This could literally be the feminine and the masculine working together. And it's daring. It's daring. It doesn't feel like fairy unicorn energy. It's daring. It's edgy. It's like I want to be nervous and I want to giggle all at the same time. It's wild, bit feral. Wow, they're beautiful messages. Yeah. And the 2 underlying cards. What's the underlying tarot? 3 of Wands. Oh, yeah. So the 3 underlying cards from these 3 decks. I want to say letting go of contracts that you've made here. And it could be a contract like, I will starve myself to feed others. It could be that big. I will serve that before I serve this. So being in a place of compassion, is calm is with passion, with passion, with passion, because you're now ready to grow and expand. I move into that Queen of Wands, creative energy, and compassion to take your time in that, because you can do it on your terms. This screams trust. So she's planted her wands, which are on fire, and she's ready to surf the waves. I think the traditional meaning of this, so I tend to read tarot like oracle, but I think the traditional meaning of this is waiting for my ships to come in. I don't get an ounce of that. I get, I'm going in. Beautiful. She's got all her tribal paint on, look. all the best of her ancestry. She's wearing it on her skin, and she's going to take the surfboard and she's going to go surf the waves just because. Nothing. Saturn again. Truth. Coming in on that harmonious 6, the truth seeks the harmony in relationship to the universal self. Is this true? Wow, that was stunning. Thank you. Wait a minute. Look at the underlying story. So this story will follow this. Wow. Wow. I'm not going to speak into these cards. You're going to speak to your soul. It's like a manifesto. That's the word I get with this. It's like a manifesto. And that's it. I'm not going to pull a closing card. I'm going to leave it there. I would heartily recommend, I would heartily welcome your comments. I'd love to know what you get from this. Profound. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, do all the clicky things, leave me a comment. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I'll see you soon.